You're listening to the Cool Audio Podcast, your escape into the world of stories, sounds, and imagination. Whether you're driving, chilling at home, or just need a moment to unplug, we've got a story just for you. So sit back, relax, and let the journey begin. No problem, let's go. Victoria thought the idea was great too. So, to make Chloe happy, they went to a seafood restaurant. They bought a lot of fresh seafood and drove to the first hospital. The first hospital was pretty empty, possibly because of the rumors. The two went to Chloe's room. They opened the door and were a little stunned. Chloe wasn't in the room. Eh? Where did she go? The two looked around in the room. You're looking for me? A voice with a hint of coldness came from behind them. The two turned around and saw Chloe in her patient's gown. It was strange. Chloe had perfect makeup on. She wasn't like a patient at all. If it wasn't for her clothes, she could have passed for a fashion model. Victoria and Sarah turned around simultaneously. Chloe's beauty caught them off guard. Chloe wasn't good at putting on makeup, so what was this about? Damn, where'd you go? We got scared thinking that you left the hospital already. Sarah ran over and playfully punched her. These kinds of actions were normal between best friends, but Sarah saw a hint of disgust in Chloe's eyes. Maybe it was just her imagination. I went out for some fresh air. Seeing her best friends here, Chloe wasn't very enthusiastic. After speaking, she walked straight into the room. Sarah and I went shopping. This loser bought 7 Chanel bags at once. Ha ha, Director Ace needs to work for the rest of his life. Victoria jokingly recounted what went down today. Sarah seemed to remember something as she took out a bag and handed it to Chloe. Chloe, this is for you. It'll be your get better gift. I bought too many. I can't use them all anyways. On the way here, Sarah picked one out for Victoria too. Although they didn't lack money, Sarah did it as an expression of friendship. Her aesthetic tastes weren't bad either. Although she bought the bags out of resentment, they were all pretty. Especially the one for Victoria. It suited her style. Sarah thought that Chloe would happily accept the gift as well. After all, ever since she got married to Jack, she rarely got presents from Sarah. Only, Chloe took one look at the bag, then said in a monotone voice, France had this bag half a year ago. It's not new. When Sarah heard Chloe, she was a little embarrassed. Still, she smiled. Yeah, it's like that in the country. After all, they're not produced here. I don't think the color suits me. Put it away. I don't need a bag anyways. Chloe didn't look like she was joking. She brushed off Sarah's goodwill just like that. That not only made Sarah feel bad, it made Victoria feel awkward as well. They didn't know what was with Chloe. To mend the situation, Victoria said, Chloe, we're here to have lunch with you. Let's eat. I'm starving. Yeah, haha, we walked for an entire morning without eating anything. Sarah and Victoria opened the bags of seafood. They put them on the coffee table and sat on the sofa. Seafood? Chloe frowned. Yeah, your favorite. Aren't you surprised? Sarah smiled while opening the bags. Don't you think that seafood stinks and smells weird? Chloe asked. When Chloe said that, the 2 other women were dumbfounded. Victoria and Sarah looked at each other in confusion. Layla really hated seafood. It was because when she grew up, she was around sea creatures too much. However, Chloe did like seafood, so her first reaction was disgust. Then she remembered that Chloe liked seafood. So, to fix her mistake, she said, I did like seafood, but this time, after what I've been through, my tastes have changed. It's common for women's palates to change after childbirth. Mr. Dawson can attest to that. So, girls, you heard right. I don't like seafood anymore. Really, if I knew, I wouldn't have bought it. I can't believe that you don't like it anymore. Clearly, Sarah believed her as she lamented. It's okay. We'll order something else or go eat at the cafeteria, Victoria suggested. It's okay, don't bother. You guys eat. I'm not hungry. Victoria and Sarah were silent. I'm a little tired. I want to take a nap. Then, we'll come visit you some other time, Chloe. Chloe kicked them out with one sentence. They had nowhere to go with the bags of seafood. They found an empty spot in the cafeteria and sat down. Then, they ate the food, so it wasn't a waste. Inside the cafeteria, Chloe seems weird today. I feel like something is wrong. Victoria looked worried. I know why, Sarah replied in a mysterious tone. You know? Victoria raised her head in surprise. Come look at this. Sarah picked up her phone, opened her friend circle, and showed Victoria something. It was the announcement of Cece's newborn child. We didn't even know Cece delivered. We should visit her sometime. Victoria, that's not the point. The point is, Cece delivered, but Chloe had a miscarriage. Their pregnancies were around the same time, and if Chloe didn't miscarry, that baby should have been born around this time. So you mean? Victoria seemed to understand what Sarah meant. I think Chloe was traumatized. She's down, especially after Cece had her baby. That's why she was acting so weird today. She didn't want to eat seafood, and she didn't want to talk to us. Chloe loved that baby, and losing it was traumatizing. She's focusing on getting her body back to health, but mental trauma doesn't heal that quickly. Sarah, that makes sense. Poor Chloe. Let's just be there for her. She'll be there for us when we're in trouble. Victoria and Sarah didn't think much of it. It lined up with Cece's delivery, so they innocently thought that Chloe was in a bad mood. They wouldn't have thought that this Chloe wasn't their best friend, on the other side of the earth, in the Ocean Palace. Chloe looked at the man lying in the crystal coffin with shock on her face. Chloe, one word and I will revive him. He won't die. He'll be the same Andrew who is willing to go through hell and back for you. Lynn's voice seemed to have an irresistible magical power to it that was too alluring to Chloe. Andrew died for her, and for that, Chloe had been feeling miserable. If there was a chance of reviving him, then... Chloe seemed to see the man who loved pink suits, who called her sister, and had eyes that curved like crescent moons when he smiled. If he was still alive, if he could continue living... Chloe didn't dare to think. It was a grand wish. Finally, Chloe's brain calmed down and returned to her normal calmness and intelligence. Looking at Andrew in the crystal coffin and then at Lynn, she asked, "So he's a clone, right?" "That's right. My cloning technology is very advanced. Every part of his body can be replicated from his DNA. After all, we have his DNA because of the time he spent with Layla. The cloned Andrew is exactly like the original Andrew, and there's an added benefit. He no longer will have a split personality disorder. Hunter will no longer exist." Chloe was silent. "Chloe, you should know. How Andrew's split personality came to be, right?" Lynn asked. "It's related to his childhood experience." Chloe and Victoria had discussed this before, as Victoria had a doctorate in psychology and was the best in her field, so her analysis was based on facts. People with split personality disorders had experienced trauma and were trying to repress it, leading to the unimaginable outcome. The kind and gentle Andrew led to a violent Hunter. Of course, it was Lily, Andrew's adoptive mother, who caused that result. After marrying into the family, she didn't have any children with Timothy, so she adopted a son from her biological sister. However, Lily didn't treat her son well. She let out the hatred she had for Timothy and her life on the child. At a young age, Andrew couldn't take the abuse at all, so his personality split into a devil who could fight the world. Chloe knew that, and that was the reason she couldn't hate Andrew no matter what he did. There was a time when Andrew was in jail. Chloe was conflicted as to whether or not she should kill him. If she didn't, Andrew wouldn't sit still in prison. He would have ways to escape, or cooperate with Legend and Nalo to do more terrible things. If she did, her conscience wouldn't sit well. After all, he was so good to her. Finally, Chloe decided to do it. However, Layla's men rescued Andrew. Her thoughts came flying back. Lynn nodded. "That's right. Actually, this kid had a pretty tragic life. Chloe, he's good to you. I feel like he's more loyal to you than your husband. If you agree and nod, I can clone him right now, and you can pretend that he's the same Andrew. He'll have all of Andrew's memories and love you as deeply as before. Do you agree?" "Condition? Heh. Child, there's no condition. You're my daughter, and this is my gift to you. If you like, I can't help you realize things that you think impossible. I can even clone people who are dead." Chloe suddenly remembered Uncle James. "So you cloned James too? You meant number 002? Of course. Number 002? Chloe was confused. Number 002 is his code name. I had someone take out a blood sample from James's file library. He's a duplicate. Hearing Lynn's admission, Chloe finally understood why James had Uncle James's genes, and why the gene test showed he was Thomas's father. Lynn had cloned James with Uncle James's sample, which was why he resembled Uncle Jing so perfectly. "What's your purpose? Why did you do that? Did you do it for fun?" Chloe looked at Lynn coldly and demanded, "Of course not for fun. I just wanted to see what my product would respond to when he went into the world. He did well. He was even smarter than his original. But unfortunately, he was killed by your man." "Killed?" Chloe was surprised. "Yeah, he was tortured and killed by your man. So, Chloe, the man you love is a wild beast in disguise." Lynn waved her hand, and the image of a crystal coffin disappeared from the wall. In its place was the image of Jack killing James. Although they couldn't hear the conversation between Jack and James, they could see how Jack killed him and even burned his body into ashes. Lynn thought Chloe would be disappointed or miserable after watching Jack's cruel behavior. But to her surprise, Chloe smiled. It was a cool smile. "Chloe, now you see his real face, huh?" "You're wrong. He did it because he had realized your number 002 was a monster. I think he has seen through Layla's disguise and knows that I was switched." "That's impossible. Don't wish for things that's impossible. Layla has lived in your home for more than 2 weeks. What are you thinking about?" "Chloe, you're deceiving yourself by thinking that nothing had happened between Layla and your man. They stay in a bedroom all by themselves and Layla has your face." Lynn was convinced that Layla could handle Jack and sleep with him, so she kept provoking Chloe with words. "Fine, say whatever you want. Heh." Chloe didn't have the energy to argue with Lynn, but she knew Jack very well, and that he never made a move impulsively. The fact that he killed James meant that he had discovered something. Maybe Jack had discovered the woman living in their home was an imposter. At this thought, Chloe was elated. "Chloe, trust me. I'm your mother and I'd do anything for you. If you let me go and remove that psycho Layla from my home, I'll take you as my mother." Chloe was very tough. After staying here for a long while, Lynn still couldn't brainwash her. "You're eager to go home. But what's the meaning of staying in that home with a group of ordinary people? You're a genius, and my daughter." "So you think I should help you conquer the world?" Chloe's eyes were piercing. "Chloe, why don't you like this place? Together we can make lots of interesting people. At least, I can resurrect dead people. No one can do it, not even your father." Obviously, Lynn was very proud of her human cloning technology. "Dr. Lynn, can you tell me what's the normal life expectancy of a human being?" Chloe asked a biology question. Not knowing why Chloe asked the question, Lynn still answered amiably. "Child, this is an easy question for me. I'm an expert in this area. Verified by the Guinness World Records, the person who lived the longest in the world is a woman from a village in South Africa. Her name was Molokemo. She was born in 1874 and died in 2008 when she was 134 years old." Chloe nodded. "Good. It means the limit for a human's life expectancy is 134 years, and you, Dr. Lynn, have the ambition to clone people after they're dead." "Isn't it a great technology?" Lynn was excited. "In my eyes, it's an anti-human technology that goes against nature. Following life cycles and the natural rules are the way we should live. Nature has its own patterns, and we're only a species on the earth, just like fish and birds. So don't think you can do things against nature. You'll be punished. My dear great Dr. Lynn, have you found the deadly weaknesses in your successful experimental products?" Hearing Chloe's words, Lynn's expression changed slightly, which gave Chloe the answer she needed. "You don't have to say it, but I know the answer. I hope you stop doing these unnatural things. From birth to death, we must follow natural rules. Don't think you can change them." "So, Chloe, you don't want to bring your friend Andrew back to life? You want him to disappear from your memory forever? He'll always be a pile of bloody pieces in your mind?" Lynn tried again to hit Chloe's raw nerve by talking about Andrew, but unfortunately, "I'm sorry, Dr. Lynn, but I don't need him to come back to life. Strictly speaking, you can't bring him back to life. There's only one Andrew and he is dead, but I'll remember him. Even if you resurrected him, he'd only be a replica with his face. I believe he wouldn't like to live in this way. He's dead, and we must give him peace. I hope you won't make more monsters by cloning dead people." Chloe's words stunned Lynn. Chloe had thought her words would infuriate Lynn, but to her surprise, Lynn wasn't angry. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she called out, "Messiah!" "Yes, master." "I'm tired. Take her back to her room." "Yes." After Chloe was gone, Lynn sat on the chair, supporting her head with one hand. She was thoughtful. In a little while, Messiah came back. Lynn pointed at the dumplings on the table. "Cook the dumplings and deliver them to her." "Yes, master." Carefully, Messiah picked up the dumplings from the table, one by one. Lynn said in a low voice, "Messiah, she's an extraordinary child. She's highly intelligent and very resourceful. She can do great things." "She has your good genes, master. She takes after me, right?" Lynn smiled. "Yes, Miss Chloe takes after you, master. Yeah, it's why she's my favorite. Only she can help me realize my dream. I look forward to the day when your dream comes true." Dropping to one knee, Messiah placed her hand on her chest. Among all the servants, she had worked for Lynn for the longest time and knew Lynn's ambition. When Messiah delivered the steaming dumplings to Chloe, the latter was pacing in her room and thinking of the things that puzzled her. "Miss Chloe, Messiah, Master had me bring these to you. She made them personally." Messiah placed a plate of steaming dumplings on the table. Chloe glanced at the food and didn't speak. "Sister Chloe, you must take care of yourself since you're pregnant. Don't be sulky. You'll gain nothing if you anger the master." "I know. I won't do it. I'll eat because I'll be able to go home and see my family." Chloe tested the dumplings with her poison-detecting device. Finding nothing unusual, she sat down to eat. She had to admit Lynn's dumplings were truly delicious, even though they had a different taste from the dumplings made by Sandra. Chloe hadn't enjoyed her food so much after coming to this place. "Miss Chloe, the master loves you." "You told me that, Messiah. You said she made that monster Layla because she missed me." "So she loves Layla too, right?" At this thought, Chloe felt a bit jealous. She just couldn't understand why her own mother hadn't come to find her, even though she missed her. Instead, she had made a monster resembling her daughter to ease her longing for her daughter. "Why?" Messiah said in a low voice. "In fact, the master isn't so nice to Miss Layla. They are more like employer and employee. Miss Layla is scared of the master and never dares to call the master Mom. Layla calls her master just as we do." Stunned, Chloe's hands shook slightly. "I told you the truth, Miss Chloe." "So what? I won't call her Mom just because she made me dumplings and resurrected a few people for me. I still think it weird that she'd imprison her pregnant daughter and send an imposter to her daughter's home to flip things upside down. If Layla lays one finger on my husband or my daughters, I'll never forgive her in this life, next life, and the life after the next," Chloe said with moistening eyes. She truly couldn't love this mother. She wanted nothing but to return home and see her beloved family. Messiah didn't speak. After all, Miss Chloe grew up in a different environment, and it was understandable that she couldn't accept the things in this place, in the country. "Daddy, Daddy, help us." Little Bean wept out the words to Jack on the phone. Jack was on his way to home. "What's wrong, Little Bean?" "Mommy won't allow us to go to Tokyo with Handsome Cooper. She changed her mind. But Handsome Cooper has booked the air tickets, and my sister and I don't want to stand him up. Please help us." Little Bean cried her heart out on the phone. Jack's heart broke when he heard her cry. "Baby, don't cry. Daddy will be home in a minute." As Jack drove home, he was furious that the imposter made his baby girl cry. Sure enough, when he got home, he saw his parents standing on one side helplessly as they watched their daughter-in-law lecture their granddaughters. Little Bean was crying. Pudding was moody with her head lowered, but she didn't cry. "Daddy, you're back." As if seeing her savior, Little Bean raced to him and held his legs. Jack squatted down and wiped the tears from her cheeks. "Don't cry. Daddy is here." Seeing Jack was back, Chloe smiled. "Hun, you're finally home. You can be the judge. They want to go to Tokyo with Justin for more than 1 week." Holding Little Bean in his arms, Jack turned slowly and glanced at Chloe's face coldly. "Didn't you agree to let them go?" Jack demanded. "I did, but I thought they'd be away for only a couple of days," Chloe explained. "Is there a difference between a couple of days and 1 week?" Jack continued to stare at her. "Of course. 2 days are short. but I'm worried something might happen to them in one long week. After all, they went missing in the States. I'm just worried." "You don't trust Justin?" Jack continued to ask. "Of course I trust him. I just think Justin is one man and can't take care of two girls. If he got careless..." "So you just went back on your words and stopped them from going? Do you know Justin has booked air tickets and a hotel? Don't you think you're out of line by changing your mind so willfully? You disturbed the kids' plans and let down Justin?" Jack was obviously lecturing her. "Jack, Chloe is doing it for the good of the kids. Calm down." Even his mother could hear the harshness in his tone. Afraid that her daughter-in-law would get angry, she spoke up to ease the tension. "Yeah, Jack, talk things over with Chloe, but don't get angry. You'd alarm the kids." "Dad, Mom, take Pudding and Little Bean upstairs. I'll talk to her." Jack said her instead of Chloe. He had subconsciously avoided calling the imposter Chloe because she didn't deserve it. "Don't get angry, you two," worried, his father instructed them before going upstairs. After his parents and kids left, Jack had the servants leave the living room too. Finally, he was alone with Chloe. Jack had the urge to take out his pistol and shoot the perverse woman, but considering his Chloe was still in their hands, he suppressed the urge. "Hun, I just don't want the kids to go to Japan. Why did you make it such a big deal?" Chloe smiled. "It's not about the kids. It's about keeping promises. You promised to let them go, and now you broke your promise. Don't you think it's shameful?" "It's nothing shameful because they are my kids. You mean I don't have the right to discipline my own kids?" Chloe, or Layla, snorted as she was determined to work against Jack. "Don't confuse the concepts. It's not a problem of your rights. As parents, how can you set a good example for your children if you don't keep your promises?" Jack glanced at the familiar face coolly as he talked about the proper way to educate children. "Mr. Dawson, do you have a better way to solve the problem?" Jack was totally disgusted when she called him Mr. Dawson. Since she wasn't Chloe, her Mr. Dawson sounded false and disgusting to Jack. He fell silent. Chloe continued, "How about this? Pudding and Little Bean are our kids, and we can't let them go out with Justin alone. Justin is a good guy, but he's not their daddy. Maybe we can go with them. What do you think?" Layla finally revealed her true intention. "I don't have time." It was true. Jack had his plate full with Stella unconscious and his mother-in-law sick. Thomas was also busy traveling between the hospital and the company. Noah was overwhelmed by the cases of missing people. Jack felt fatigued with all the problems in his private life and the big workload in the company. At this moment, how could he have time to go on vacation in Japan for 1 week? "I knew you'd say that. Since you don't have time, I can go with them. I have time." "You mean you want to go with Justin and the kids to Japan?" Jack stared at her. "What else can we do? I asked you, but you said you're busy." She spread out her hands with an innocent look. "Do you think it's proper?" Jack asked. "Why not?" Chloe asked back. "You and Justin are so intimate that you two will spend 7 days in Japan by yourselves?" Obviously, Jack was displeased. "We won't be alone. I told you we'll go with Pudding and Little Bean. Didn't you hear me? Little Bean and Pudding are still young. People would think you're a family of 4 going on a vacation. Don't you think so?" Jack tried to suppress his anger. "Ha! Are you jealous, my Mr. Dawson?" Jack didn't speak. "None of my plans is agreeable to you. What on earth do you want?" Crossing her arms before her chest, she challenged him. "I won't agree to your plan. I didn't know you're such a petty man." Jack glanced at her. "It's nothing to do with pettiness. Your plan is ridiculous. Even if I believe you, will the media believe you? I don't want my kids to see the scandal about their mom and Justin from the news. Just forget it. If you don't agree to let me go, then the trip to Japan will be canceled. I won't let Justin take our kids to Japan. What if the Yamaguchi Gumi colluded with Legend and took the kids? Do you think the Yamaguchi Gumi won't take them just because you are there? Do you think you're Fiona and can defeat an army?" He berated this imposter. If she was his Chloe, he'd never bear to treat her in this way. "An army? Heh. Even Fiona can't defeat an army. Don't pull this BS with me. Anyway, if I can't go, then no one goes." Chloe insisted on ruining the plan. Now that Jack didn't let her go, she wouldn't let Justin take the kids to Japan either. "You're so selfish. Aren't you afraid the kids will be disappointed in you?" Jack looked her in the eye and said, putting emphasis in each word. I'm not afraid. They're still young. When they grow up, they'll understand their mom's good intentions. Hey, suit yourself. Not caring to speak to the woman anymore, Jack went upstairs. Brazenly, Chloe walked into the kids' room and said with a faked benign smile, "Little Bean Pudding, it's not me who isn't letting you go. Your daddy is interrupting the plan. It's not my fault." Hearing her words, Little Bean burst into tears. "Daddy, I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Disneyland so much." Pudding didn't speak, but she looked at her mom with dislike in her eyes. "What happened? Is this the result of your talk? You made the kid cry." Jack's mother loved her granddaughters and couldn't bear to see Little Bean cry. She looked at Jack and Chloe with scorn in her eyes. "Mom, ask your good son." Chloe returned to her bedroom and closed the door with a slam. Jack. "Mom, please go to your room with Dad. I want to talk to Little Bean and Pudding." "Don't reprimand them. Do you hear me?" his father warned him angrily. "I know, Dad. Don't worry." Hearing his promise, his parents left finally. Little Bean was still crying. She was only a child and had looked forward to the trip for a long time. Now that she was told that the trip was gone in the wind, she just couldn't suppress her sadness and disappointment. Her eyes turned red with crying. Looking lost, Pudding sat by the bed and didn't speak. Jack closed the door, then he picked up the kids and let them sit on his thighs. "Dears, you know Daddy loves you, right?" "Yes," the sisters answered as one. "Do you love Daddy?" "Of course," they answered at the same time. "Then if I say, I don't want you to go to Japan this time, will you be sad?" "Yes." Little Bean's voice was small, and her eyes were still full of tears. Pudding didn't reply. "You just want to go to Japan, right? If your Uncle Cooper is busy and someone else takes you, do you agree?" "Someone else? Who?" Little Bean and Pudding were surprised. "Your Uncle Cooper needs to do something important, but you two can go to Japan, the States, and Europe. I'll ask for leave from your school for you." "Really? Daddy, we don't need to go to school?" Little Bean stopped crying immediately. She held her daddy's face in excitement and asked in disbelief, "So, Daddy, who will take us?" Pudding asked the key question. "Auntie Avery and Uncle Max. What do you think?" "Wow! Really?" Little Bean screamed in elation. In fact, the kids didn't care who took them. They'd be happy so long as they could travel. They were happy that their daddy agreed to let Avery take them for the trip, even though Justin couldn't make it. "Daddy, are you serious?" Pudding looked incredulous too. "You can go to the States to visit your second grandpa with Aunt Avery, and you can go to Disneyland in the States too." "How many days will you give us, Daddy?" Little Bean asked eagerly. 1 month. What do you think? Jack thought for a moment and said, "Wow, Daddy, I love you." Not able to suppress her excitement, Little Bean kissed his cheek. Pudding smiled cheerfully. "Daddy, you mean we don't have to go to school?" In fact, going to school each day was a torture for the genius sisters. They had self-taught many courses and hated the stiff-style education, which consisted of nothing but learning and writing tests. Chloe couldn't bear to let their daughters live away from them. Otherwise, Jack would have sent them to the States for education. Their childhood would be easier in the States. Hearing that they could travel for 1 month instead of 1 week, the twins were exhilarated. Their moods had experienced sharp turns like a roller coaster. They were still kids and couldn't conceal their happiness and sadness. Even the matured Pudding had a smug smile on her face when she heard they'd get 1 month away from school. "Do you agree to travel with Aunt Avery and Uncle Max?" Jack asked them again. "Yes, yes." The twins were elated that they'd travel with their aunt who doted on them and spent money on them without batting an eye. After the talk, Jack tucked the kids into bed. Glancing at Chloe's bedroom, he saw the light was off. He went downstairs. "Sir, are you going out to find the young madam?" the housemaid standing at the entrance asked. "Did she go out?" "Yeah, she drove out 10 minutes ago." "Okay, I got it." Jack nodded and didn't find it strange. Instead, he'd be surprised if the woman stayed home each day. Jack drove to Max's house. It was 8 p.m. Max and Avery were lounging on the sofa and watched TV. Avery was enjoying her favorite TV show. Ever since he got with Avery, Max had changed into a new man who did nothing but go to work and spend time with his wife. He only went out for a drink with Justin and Breton. Wearing a white cotton sleeping gown, Avery lay with her head in Max's lap. She ate potato chips while watching the TV show. This tough woman had become a docile little woman. Seeing Avery was engrossed in the TV show, Max slid his hand under her sleeping gown. "What are you doing?" Avery slapped his wandering hand away. "Avery, do you want to do something?" Max smiled slyly. "Do what?" Not as experienced as Max, Avery was slow to react. "Do something that can improve our intimacy. You know what I mean." Then his hand pinched suggestively. Understanding his intention, Avery blushed. "You're shameless. Max, why are you so lewd?" "It's not lewd to want to sleep with my wife. It's a legal way to satisfy my physical needs. Avery, we haven't done it for 3 days. Max looked sulky. "Damn, it's only 3 days." Avery still felt the soreness in the small of her back since the last time they did it. 3 days are very long for me. No, I can't wait anymore. I want to eat you." Max pushed her down to the sofa and intended to do it with her on the sofa. At this moment, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. "Damn, who is it? What lousy timing. Get up and open the door." Avery smoothened her messy collar. No matter who's at the door, I won't open it until we're done." Max lowered his head to bite Avery's lips playfully. "Go now. We have all the time in the world for this." Angry, Avery kicked him off the sofa. He almost fell to the floor. At her order, he walked to the door reluctantly, mumbling, "Damn, if the person is from my company, I'll take the half-year bonus from his paycheck. Damn, what a party crasher." When he opened the door and saw the person standing there, he was surprised. "Brother-in-law, it's you." Ever since he got with Avery, Max became more and more respectful to Jack, since Avery loved her cousin very much. "Yeah, is Avery home?" Jack was as cool as usual. Yes, come on in. Brother-in-law, it's cold outside." Always a flatterer, Max ushered Jack into the house immediately. In fact, he was curious what brought Jack here since the latter had never visited his house before. Coming so late in the night, Jack must have some important business. "Brother, what are you doing here?" Avery was surprised too. Jack only nodded. "Max, get something to drink for my brother." Avery stood up immediately. "Brother-in-law, would you like iced Coke?" Not knowing what Jack liked, Max had to make a guess. "No, my brother likes tea. We have pure tea. Go make some tea." "Okay." Max got busy with boiling water and making tea. As Jack sat down on the sofa, Avery turned to him. "Brother, sit for a while. I'll go and get some fruits for you." "Avery, it's not necessary. I'll leave in a minute. Sit down. I need to talk to you." "Okay." Seeing the earnest look on her brother's face, Avery sat down immediately. After he explained his plan, Avery was surprised. "Brother, it will be 1 month. Won't you miss the little girls?" "I have important things to handle in the next month. With them absent, I won't get distracted. I'm not worried since Max will be with you. The fellow is smart and has good fighting skills. I'll arrange 4 bodyguards to accompany you. In the States, Rick's people will protect you. Anyway, be careful." "Brother, did something happen in our family?" Avery knew that if her brother needed his kids to be away from home for 1 month, the issue he was handling must be very important. "It's a trivial thing. Don't worry." "With me gone, can you handle all the work in the company? Stella is sick, and Thomas needs to go to the hospital constantly. You don't have people to help you in the company." Avery was worried. She had been helping her brother with the work in the company. "The business in the company is not important. I can handle it." Okay," Avery nodded. Jack took out a black diamond card from his pocket. "This is $10 million. The 4 of you can treat it as a long-distance trip and enjoy your time. If you need more money, just tell me." "Brother, what's this? We're family. You don't have to give me money." Avery glanced at the black card but didn't take it. "Because we're family, I can give you more." Jack smiled warmly as he looked at his beloved cousin. "Brother, I have money. I have a lot of money." Avery's personal funds were stunning. Even though she wasn't as rich as Fiona, she had over $100 million in her bank accounts. "I know you have money, but I want to give it to you. Take it." "Brother, is something bothering you? I think you're keeping something from us." Avery looked at him worriedly. "No, The kids just wanted to go to Japan with Justin, but I don't think Japan has a lot of fun places to go, so I decided to let them have a good time during the winter vacation since they don't have classes anyway. I've been busy and can't have a vacation with them, but they are eager to travel. Fine. I'm glad to hear that nothing is bothering you. Don't worry. I'll take good care of my nieces. When you're traveling, be careful and keep low. I know. You talk to Max about it. Okay, I will. I booked air tickets for you. It's tomorrow night. I'll drive you guys to the airport. So soon? Avery was surprised to hear they'd leave tomorrow night. Yeah, Pudding and Little Bean can't wait to go. Haha, fine. I'll pack tonight. Dad will be happy to know that I'll be visiting him with Pudding and Little Bean. Bring my regards to second uncle. Ask him to take care. My dad is fine. Brother, don't worry. You stay home and take care of my sister-in-law. Jack didn't reply. He glanced at his watch and stood up. I've got to go. You haven't had tea yet. I can't. I have something to do. You and Max must get prepared for the trip. Then he walked out. When Max came down with the tea, Jack was gone. Honey, where's my brother-in-law? He left. Damn, he left? Then why did I make the damn tea? Max felt he had gotten busy for nothing. Bring it here. I'll drink it. Avery beckoned at him. Hey, fine. Honey, try my excellent tea-making skills. Max leaned over and threw an arm around her shoulders as they sipped the strong and fragrant pure tea. My dear, Avery began. Are you talking to me? Max thought he had heard it wrong. My dear husband, Avery said. Ahem. Your Majesty, I'm not used to you talking to me this way. Avery usually called him Max, so he was a bit surprised that Avery called him husband and my dear. Honey, let's go for a trip. No problem, Max replied without hesitation. Then he remembered a trendy song and sang, I want to take you to romantic Turkey, and then to Tokyo and Paris. I especially like Miami and Los Angeles with black people. Avery snapped her fingers. Great, it's settled then. Huh? What's settled? Max was confused. Let's go to Tokyo, Paris, Miami, and Los Angeles where my daddy lives, Avery said. But we just came back from Los Angeles. Max was still confused. They had been back for less than 2 weeks, and now they were going to Los Angeles again, as if it was just in the neighborhood. Yeah, but I still want to go there. Please, Your Majesty, don't pull my leg. I'm not pulling your leg. Do you really want to go? Yes. Avery placed the black card into his hand. My brother gave this to us. It's a travel fund of $10 million. My brother-in-law is so generous, Max took the black card and said with a chuckle. Yeah, he only has one requirement. What is it? We must take Pudding and Little Bean with us. 10 minutes later, Avery finished explaining the whole thing to Max. You mean we must take the 2 little girls to travel for 1 month? You can say so. I see. What? You have objections? Avery demanded. No, I have no objections. I just think it's weird that my brother-in-law gave us so much money and wants us to be away for such a long time. I'm just wondering why he is doing this. My brother knows what he's doing. Don't worry. Now that he entrusted the kids to our care, we must take good care of them. Of course, we can lose me, but we can't lose those 2 little girls. Max chuckled. You can say so. Avery laughed too. Hey, I just remembered that Mr. Cooper was planning to take the 2 kids to Tokyo. Max suddenly remembered Justin had once told him this plan. Obviously, the plans changed. Does Mr. Cooper know about it? Max was worried. It's not our business. Now that my brother has made the plan, I'm sure he has talked to Mr. Cooper about it. Fine. With the funds from my generous brother-in-law, we'll just enjoy ourselves. Right. After making arrangements with Max and Avery, Jack drove to the Southside Recuperation Center. Cece was still in the hospital, and Rick was keeping her company. Jack visited Cece and the baby in the ward first, and gave the baby a generous gift, which was a high-quality jade. Jack bought it at an auction last month for $12 million. The jade was transparent all over without any impurities. Cece and Rick were very happy since the gesture showed that Jack was a great friend who was happy to see they had a daughter. Rick loved their baby so much that he was always carrying her and even fed her milk. Obviously, he was a great daddy. After putting little Jin to sleep, Rick went to a quiet corridor in the hospital. Are you sure you want to send the twins away? Yeah. When they arrive in the States, you must send people to protect them. I'm afraid Legends people might target them, Jack said. Don't worry. They will be in my territory. That terrorist and his mafia brother won't be so bold. Okay. I have total trust in you. What now? Do you have a plan? Yeah, I have a tough battle ahead. Jack took a drag of his cigarette. How can I help you? Not yet. Take good care of Cece and your daughter. I'll tell you when I need your help. Okay, be careful. I will. The conversation between the two men was succinct and to the point. It underlined their deep brotherly love for each other. Then Jack drove to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. The Bureau just received the report of a case, but it wasn't about missing people this time. Jack, it's great you came. I'm on the brink of collapse. Come with me. I'll show you something. Noah was happy to see Jack and pulled him into the forensic. Jack had come to talk about the missing people with Noah, but the latter pulled him into the forensics department. Not everyone could enter this place, but Noah was the chief. Chief Ace. The forensic pathologist and his assistant greeted Noah. Jack looked at the body on the table, and the look in his eyes changed slightly. Fortunately, he had been a medical student and thus had a higher tolerance of such sights. However, Noah swallowed hard when he saw the body. He had been a cop for many years, and he didn't want to humiliate himself by vomiting. But the body was such a mess that its sight gave him physical discomfort. What do you think, old son? Noah forced the contents back into his stomach and looked at the forensic pathologist. He died less than 3 hours ago. The murderer was very cruel. They must have torn open the body with some kind of tool. Hearing his words, Jack glanced at the body again. Its chest and belly seemed to have been torn open by a ferocious beast. It was a bloody sight. Where was the body found? Jack asked Noah. The southwest corner in N Park. Do you know the birch forest there? Yes, that's the place. Who found the body? Jack frowned. A young couple. Were taking a stroll in the park, smelling the strong scent of blood. They went to investigate and then... Do you know the cause of death? Jack looked at the forensic pathologist. The forensic pathologist hesitated. Old son, this is my old friend. Tell him. He won't tell anyone, Noah instructed. The forensic pathologist nodded. Glancing at Jack and then at Noah, he said, According to our current analysis, the cause of death was the opening in the artery in the neck. It was cut open by a sharp tool, and most of the blood came out through this opening. But the strange thing is that there's only a little blood on site. Chief Ace, you can look in the line of illegal selling of blood. Selling blood? It doesn't make much money. All the organs are there, right? All but the heart. The forensic pathologist pointed at the body's chest with a scalpel. Noah gasped. Was it really done by an underground organization selling human organs? Their method is horrible. When I catch them, I'll shoot them. Noah cursed in fury. Doubtful, Jack put on medical gloves and walked over to check the chest and the artery in the neck. He walked back and said, Old Ace, let's talk in private. Okay. They went directly into Noah's office. A young cop came in with 2 mugs of coffee. Smelling the coffee, Noah raced to the washroom and threw up. Finally, he came out with an ashen face. Jack, I tell you, I've been a cop for many years, but had never seen such a brutal killing. The murderer is a beast. Look at the mess he made of the body. If a female cop saw it, she'd be scared witless, Noah said weakly. It was indeed brutal, Jack agreed. You were a medical student and saw the body. What weapon do you think the murderer used? Since the forensic pathologist was unsure about the weapon, Noah wanted to hear the opinion of Jack, who had graduated from a medical school. Looking at Noah with unreadable eyes, Jack didn't speak. Why are you staring at me? Speak. I'm afraid the answer is too much for you to accept. BS, I'm a cop. I've handled countless cases. Tell me. I'm sure I can take it. Noah thought Jack was exaggerating. After all, he wasn't a cop who only sat in his office and drank tea. He had done many field missions and cracked countless cases before he was promoted to the position of bureau chief. I think the weapon is a fingernail. What? Noah thought he had heard it wrong, so he asked, What? I said I think the weapon is a fingernail. Fingernail? Are you kidding? Noah was stupefied. You know me, Old Ace. I never joke. especially in such a solemn situation. But the theory of the weapon being a fingernail is ridiculous. How could one tear open a body with a fingernail? Do you think the criminal is a Siberian tiger or a Tibetan mastiff? Noah was unconvinced, thinking this theory was ridiculous. I checked the wound in the neck and saw it was torn open. The edges of the wound are uneven. It doesn't look like a wound opened by a sharp weapon. But it can't be a fingernail. How strong does the fingernail have to be to cause such a wound? So the murderer is a psycho? Noah continued for him. An inhuman psycho, Jack concluded. Inhuman psycho? What's that damn thing? Let's put it this way. Old Ace, I think the murderer is a person with greater strength than ordinary people, or a person with special abilities. This is impossible. This isn't a movie. It sounds so unreal. Why don't you say supernatural abilities? Maybe it was done by an alien. Noah thought Jack was imagining things and thus didn't believe him. Jack didn't speak. Besides, if the wound was cut open by a fingernail, the murderer would be as strong as a fierce beast. And we didn't find any clues about the murderer in the wound. If the murderer used a fingernail, then there should be skin cells left in the wound. Jack, you're a genius and miracle doctor, but your theory is not scientific. Who is the victim? Have you checked his background? Seeing Noah didn't believe him, Jack didn't speak more about it. Instead, he changed the topic. Yeah, with the advanced IT technologies, we found his information immediately by putting in his fingerprint. Anyway, the guy deserved to die. He's a notorious scoundrel in the N District. His name is Jape, 35 years old and unemployed. He made a living by scamming and blackmailing people and was a gambler. His wife divorced him and married a guy in another city with their son. His parents live in the countryside county. He rented a room in the slum for 200 yuan per month. But the owner of the room said he hadn't paid rent for 3 months. He refused to leave and threatened to burn the room. His neighbors avoided him as if he was a malevolent tumor. Why did he go to N Park so late in the night? Jack was curious. I was curious too, and sent my people to investigate. It turned out that the guy liked to swim. The temperatures went up a bit lately, and part of the ice on the lake in the park melted. Many people went there to swim. I guess the guy went to the lake to swim tonight. Besides, we found alcohol in his body. He must have gone for a swim after drinking. Did he have enemies? Jack continued to ask. Thanks for tuning in to the Cool Audio Podcast. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a fellow story lover. Until next time, stay cool and keep listening.